Drivers, start your engines!
This is MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. One full hour of news, interviews, and opinion about the past weekend's racing action. Brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is up.
Now here are your hosts, Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Green flag, green flag.
Welcome to the penultimate Motorsports Monday for the year, presented by Outback Steakhouse. I'm Woody Kane, joined by two-spotter Joey Meyer. After the Championship 4 have been set in all three of NASCAR's National Touring Series. And look, we finally got it. The Outback Steakhouse opened near the office this week, and we have a bloomin' onion for Bloomin' Monday.
Top 10 finish for Mr. Kevin Harvick.
Free bloomin' onion today. Don't forget to race into Outback Steakhouse today for that free bloomin' onion, because Kevin Harvick had a top 10 finish at Outback Steakhouse. And, man, it has been a great year for those guys giving away the bloomin' onions, and it's great that they're open up near. Look, they even sent you some crayons and
I had a head start.
A Joey menu and some coloring.
A little
it's
bit.
Fantastic. At any rate, check them out. They've got lunch specials starting at $6.99. The new app is great. The center cut sirloin. Check it all out at Outback Steakhouse now.
About the only thing that wasn't so great about the old Kevin Harvick top 10 finish, it
wasn't good enough.
It wasn't good enough to get to Homestead.
Yeah, absolutely right. Joey Logano wins the race, the Sprint Cup Series race, the Can-Am 500 on Sunday. Here's what that sounded like.
Man, it's such a fun race. That last restart was crazy. Knew it was going to be. There's a lot of different scenarios playing out. Knew the 4s back there at 18. Even the restart before that with the 20 up there. I mean, it's just crazy. Everyone's racing for a championship. This isn't just a race. This is for the championship, and for at least a shot at it next week. And there's a lot of stress inside the car. Believe me, I wasn't fast on the long run, and it was neat to see how clean Kevin raced me. That was really cool, and 18 as well there on the last lap. So, man, it was a lot of fun.
Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. How do you like your chances next weekend at Homestead-Miami?
I love it. We just got back from Texas and had a very fast car there, and it's a same tire and a very similar racetrack. So, can't wait for next week.
There you go. We're headed to Miami now to settle the championships in all three of our top touring divisions.
And then there were 4. All 3 divisions have a total of 4 drivers each. In the Sprint Cup Series, we have 2 previous champions with Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch. But we also have the unique opportunity with Carl Edwards and Joey Logano. The saying goes, you have to lose one before you win one. Both of those drivers have lost an opportunity at a championship at Homestead. Carl Edwards battling Tony Stewart years ago for one of the epic battles we've seen.
And they tied.
And only won by Tony Stewart finishing in front of him. Joey Logano was in clear contention of winning a championship with a small issue on pit road. Those guys are foaming at the mouth to have another opportunity to go to Homestead and redeem themselves.
And all those 4 guys, their spotters, you see on the screen there, will all be on the program with us today. Earl Barban, the spotter for Jimmy Johnson, will be here. Tab Boyd, the spotter for Joey Logano, will be along as well. Tony Hirschman, the spotter for Kyle Busch, and Jason Hedlesky, the spotter for Carl Edwards, will all be on the program today. So make sure you get your questions ready. Use the hashtag AskMRN on Twitter at MRN Radio. Mine is at WY Kane. His is at 2, the number 2 spotter. All that and a whole lot more is coming up on the program today. Earl Barban will join us next, and we'll recap as well the Camping World Truck Series semifinal, if you will, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series semifinal. Set up the weekend in Miami, Ford Championship weekend. All that is ahead on MRN Motorsports Monday. Stay with us, everyone.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
Hey, this is Joey Logano. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane. How does Joey have a co-host? They talk so much.
Penalty I received for pulling up to pit, which is mind-blowing. In the 15 years I've been here, it's never been officiated that way. The leader has always had the ability to pull up and maintain whatever gap they had to the cars behind them. They've never penalized the leader and make the leader stay alongside the pace car. The majority of the tracks we compete at, you just naturally progress in front of the pace car. So now to all of a sudden officiate this is mind-blowing to me. As long as they continue to do it from here on forward, I'll bite my lip and won't say another word, but it just seems a little odd, to be quite honest with you.
Is this something you're going to follow up with NASCAR about to just get further clarification?
I'll do the due diligence. I'm not sure I'll get an answer I want, but I'll definitely go try.
There you go, Jimmy Johnson's post-race thoughts when he was talking with our Alex Hayden after the Can-Am 500 at Phoenix International Raceway yesterday. And joining us on the guest line now is his spotter, Earl Barban, the spotter for the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet. Earl, congratulations on a really fine season, and, man, you get to race for a championship again now.
Yeah, I certainly want to thank you guys for having me on, and it's going to certainly be a great next couple of days here to see if we can do something on Sunday.
You know, Earl, Phoenix didn't go the way you wanted to, but really it didn't matter with the win earlier in this round, and now you do get to go to Homestead. Just catch all the fans up to speed. Exactly how many championships you, Chad, and Jimmy have together?
Well, I personally have 4, and they have 6 combined, so very exciting. To try to go for a 7th one for that team. That team is a team that's been awesome to work there. It's definitely humbling, and to see such great success that this team has had is been doing this since sometime June '88, working for Penske and show cars and things, to being in the garage since the end of '90, and seeing such a, being part of this team is phenomenal, and it's definitely very humbling also.
So far, you have so many championships wrapped up. You have 5 fingers, and you have 4 of those rings. You're looking for that 5th ring to put on that other finger.
On his thumb?
Are you kidding me? Why not? Which championship comes to mind right away that you look at as you go to Homestead to try to relish that moment when you get to Homestead?
Well, I think the greatest one for myself was after 18 years working in the sport, some capacity, that winning the 2006 championship. Jimmy Johnson, we had a phenomenal year. A couple wins in Indianapolis, our Brickyard win, and Daytona 500, and I thought that would have to be the most exciting, and hopefully that. And I'll tell you what, the other few haven't been any different. It's a sport that we're in, and some people can attest to working years and years and not having the opportunity, and then definitely not taking this for granted, but. Every one of them is very, very special. So looking forward to seeing what Homestead has to deal us.
Yeah, you guys have been there before where you didn't really have to necessarily win the race. You had to get X position to clinch a championship. But this year, the way this format works, it seems almost like a win is going to be a prerequisite with as good as everybody is. But, Earl, I wanted to ask you something about what we heard Jimmy saying there about the penalty for accelerating past the pace car getting on pit road. Of course, Martin Truex Jr. got penalized for the same thing. It seems like there's a lot of surprise around the garage and around the racing community about the way that was called. Were you guys surprised?
Yes, I think you heard Jimmy's interview, and Jimmy Johnson has won 6 championships, 80-something wins, and I don't know how many laps led. So he's not a novice coming to pit road behind the pace car. So I thought that, and he thought that he did everything like he had in the past. So if there's obviously we'll definitely look at that again and make sure that we don't make that mistake again for Homestead. That's for sure. Hopefully we have the opportunity to be leading and coming down pit road once again so we can rectify that penalty and do it right.
Earl, as you head to Homestead, are you excited or nervous or both?
Well, I think that it's a little bit both. Every time I've been there, it's you've either been in contention or you're not. We have to protect our points. You have to finish 5th or better if somebody wins, or you have to finish 16th if this guy does this, and so or you're not winning here, you're just going down for the race. So which all that is exciting, But I think that this format makes it definitely more exciting and makes you really, I think everybody on our team, as is for probably the other three, are going to amp up, do their best, and it's definitely exciting to go down there and have an opportunity to do this.
Earl, before we let you go, I know you're getting on a flight, but just wanted to ask you one thing that I like to talk with all the spotters about, and that is, what is Jimmy's particular wish list from you from the roof? Every guy wants something a little different. What is it that Jimmy likes to hear from you during the course of a race?
A new leader, 48. So outside of that, man, I don't know. He doesn't really ask for anything in particular. We just works out and just tell him what he thinks what I think he needs, to give him all the information I can. So he hasn't told me to shut up yet or to speak more. So we'll just keep going like we are right now.
All right, man, I know it's time for you to turn off all of those electrical devices and place your seat backs in the upright position, stow those trade tables, and prepare yourself for takeoff. We'll catch up in Homestead, man. Appreciate you coming on real quick like that, and talk to you later.
Guys, I certainly appreciate you having me on, and root for the 48 this weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go. That's Earl Barban, the spotter for Jimmy Johnson on the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet at Hendrick Motorsports. And, boy, what success they've had over the years. That's an impressive run.
2012, the two cars that were in the championship hunt at the time were the 2-car and the 48 car. Earl and I we've known each other for a long time. He's been in the sport about 10 years, almost 10 years longer than I have. Long-time Penske Racing employee, spotted for Rusty Wallace for a number of years before that change made, and then he went over to the Chad Knaus-driven 48 car. So we're competing for that championship. We had to finish 15th or better. He has a lug nut fall or flail off, hit a oil line, falls out of the race due to a mechanical failure that they hadn't experienced all year long. That was one of those random failures. We finished 15th or better. Of course, in 2012, we win the championship. But we battled. We stand side by side. There's a nervous energy amongst you because, again, you don't want to be that one person, as we saw in Phoenix, to feel like you take the blame for something happening on course, and that's what you're trying to prepare. We have all these cables lined up, things we don't do all year long. Cables lined up on the spotter stand in case we have a cable failure. Batteries all lined up. Radios.
Bunch of Boy Scouts.
Exactly
being
right.
prepared
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a level of preparation that goes into a championship race from a spotter standpoint because we're on an island up there. If a guy has a gun brake or a jack brake, they have another one behind the wall. They have other people to supply those things. If you have tires go flat, you have more tires. But when you're on that spotter stand, it's a different mentality because you don't want to be that guy. We are a safety device, and you don't want to be that time that the airbag doesn't go off when it should have.
Yeah, you don't want to be can't run down to Spotters R Us right quick and pick up something else.
That's it. So the preparation that goes in from the spotter standpoint and the level of communication that the crew chiefs and the drivers rely on has been exponentially increased. Years ago you had one radio, one battery, one headset, and that was it. Now we have upwards of 4 radios and cables and push-to-talks and batteries, plus our fan visions. How about this bloomin' onion? We're staring at this bloomin' onion.
It smells fantastic.
Yes.
You guys need to go get your free bloomin' onion today because Kevin Harvick had the top 10 finish, but exponentially, I'm impressed. That's really good.
You said penultimate.
I did, but you only get to use that once a year, right? The only time you can use it. Listen, I wanted to ask you what we briefly touched on. We heard from Jimmy and asked Earl about it as well. The passing the pace car thing entering pit road, the level of surprise on top of the roof amongst you guys.
So what's interesting about it from just a math physics standpoint is when a car pulls off the track, he's taking most of the time a shorter radius around the track. And if you're going the same speed at a shorter radius, you're going to pass the pace car. We've seen it just like Earl said and Jimmy said for years this has gone on, and they've never called that passing the pace car or pulling up to pit. Pulling up to pit most of the time from our standpoint is when you're running 10th and you have some lap cars in front of you, and the 9th place guy is 5 or 6 in front of you, and you pass those lap cars to get in behind the 9th place car coming to pit road. That's what we look at as pulling up to pit.
That's what you warn the driver about.
Exactly right. Don't pull up to pit. Don't pull up to pit. But when you pull off the track at a given speed that the pace car is maintaining and you're maintaining
as the leader,
you're automatically going to pass the pace car.
Just
like at
from
Martinsville.
distance.
At Martinsville, it has to happen. Now, there is a difference between pit road speed and on track speed, but at the time that Jimmy pulled off to get to that initial line, he was still going the same speed as the pace car. He hadn't gotten to pit road speed yet, nor was he required to. And in some of those videos, you actually see a couple of cars with the intent or the ability to pass the pace car, the first and second place car, has enough speed to pull down that line. So a very, very confusing instance that I believe moving forward, the drivers, especially those 4 championship drivers, need to come into some clarity before they get to Homestead.
Interesting part about it from my perspective is what Jimmy said is you've always had the ability to maintain the gap, maintain the distance. And my impression is that when it's a caution, you slow down and everybody gets right up on your bumper. Explain what he means by maintaining your gap in that situation.
So in that point in time, Jimmy Johnson was the leader lined up directly behind the pace car where there were cars behind him separating from first to second. If he pulls off and doesn't accelerate to the line, that allows your second place car to pull off and then accelerate to his back bumper. The advantage that he gained under green, putting cars between him and the second place car, is nullified.
Right.
As the leader, you don't want that nullified. Even if that same gap from second to third and you have cars between you and the second and third place car, you don't want that nullified.
Right.
Regardless of where you are in the pack, you want that advantage that you gained under yellow to be maintained all the way down pit road.
Yeah.
And so when you have cars coming down pit road, you'd much rather have 2 or 3 car lengths separating you and the guy behind you. That's nothing but time. And we're measuring time in tenths of a second for our pit stops.
Or less.
Yeah. But on our pit stops, we're doing 10, 11, 12-second pit stops. If you do a 12.5 relative to a 12, that equates to 5, 6, 7 car lengths. And if you can come to pit road with that advantage already, it just gives your crew members more time.
Yeah, it really does. It's a lot to consider as something I think we're going to, as Jimmy said there, have to have some clarity about that before we get into the championship race, and a lot of guys will be asking those questions and looking at that. But listen, wanted to pass something along. A Ford Championship weekend coming up at Homestead-Miami this weekend. They're looking for a sellout. Tickets for NASCAR's 2016 Sprint Cup Series Ford EcoBoost 400 Championship race at Homestead-Miami are available and can be purchased by calling 866-409-RACE. That's 866-409-7223, or visit Homestead-Miami-Speedway.com to check that out and get your tickets. It was great to see the grandstands nearly full at Phoenix, everybody on their feet with the drama we had at the end of that thing, and I'm imagining that we're going to have pretty much a packed house at Homestead as well.
You know, it was interesting. We had 3 different events, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all at 3 different times. We had one night race on Friday, one late afternoon, early evening with the Xfinity race, and then clearly the Sprint Cup race started at noon. Beautiful weather at all 3 events. The stands, the fans had a great opportunity to see a penultimate style race.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm just going to use it for whenever. I'm going to go to penultimate and eat some penultimates. I'm just going to use it.
Oh, stop it.
Just use it for whatever I want to say.
Whatever you want, right.
But it was an amazing – there you go, exactly right. But at the end of Friday, at the end of Saturday, at the end of Sunday, we all saw the 4 drivers with different experiences. We see 2 laps away from Matt Kenseth becoming an opportunity to go to Homestead. We see William Byron completely destroying the field on how fast he was. Motor blows up. So all events had an interesting aspect from the fan standpoint, but now we have the 4 drivers lined up going to Homestead.
All right, we sure do. We've got a lot more coming up for you here on Motorsports Monday. It's Spotter-Palooza Day. It's also Bloomin' Monday. Go by and get your free Bloomin' Onion because Kevin Harvick had a top 10 finish. We still have Tony Hirschman, Kyle Busch's spotter coming up, Jason Hedlesky, the spotter for Carl Edwards coming up. But next, live in studio, Tab Boyd, the winning spotter from Sunday, joins us on Motorsports Monday.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free Bloomin' Onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy Bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Looking for a great spot for an affordable beach vacation or the perfect romantic retreat? Let the Plaza Resort and Spa help. A vacation on the world's most famous beach is sure to help you reconnect with the ones you love. Discover the grand tradition of hospitality and service on Daytona Beach. The Plaza Resort and Spa is the perfect choice for any type of getaway. Book online at plazaresortandspa.com or call 1-855-DB-PLAZA. That's 1-855-327-5292.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
Visit Tom Johnson Camping World in Concord for all your race week needs. Race into savings now and save big on over 400 units in stock. America's #1 RV and outdoor retailer has something for everyone. Get race season started at your local NASCAR headquarters with travel trailers starting at only $109 per month. Don't let these savings pass you by. Meet us at Tom Johnson Camping World and save big on your dream RV. STK number 126508, payments to qualified buyers with approved credit subject to lender terms. Based on statistical surveys 2015. See dealer for full offer details and disclaimers. Offers expire December 30th, 2016.
Hi, this is Ryan Newman. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
1 to go. The white flag in the air. Joey Logano, the first one to it. Then comes Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Kevin Harvick.
Joey Logano has a cushion of about a car length and a half over Kyle Busch in second. Kyle Larson in that third spot. Kevin Harvick in fourth. They're single file headed up the back straightaway.
Good three-way race from second on back, but it is well behind race leader Joey Logano, looking to race his way to Homestead-Miami next week. He's the leader off turn 4.
Joey Logano, the only chase contender coming in who had never wanted Phoenix, and now he's changed that. He wins today in the Can-Am 500, and he's headed to Miami.
There you go. Jeff Striegel, Dan Hubbard, Kyle Rickey, and Joe Moore with the call on the final lap from Phoenix International Raceway, the Can-Am 500. The winner, Joey Logano, and his spotter, Tab Boyd, joins us in the studio now. Congratulations, man. That's got to feel great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
When you saw that 2 to go before that last caution comes out, you guys were still in position to win that championship, get down a championship, and then the big wreck happens. Man, you're restart king. You have a driver that's great on restarts. You had to be excited with your opportunity there.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of concern because Phoenix does create pretty intense restarts. So it was cool to be able to have the opportunity to have another shot at it, but we were in a good position to just finish it out and be good. But you have to take advantage of the opportunity when they come.
Every driver along the weekend that we talked to at MRN, and Joey especially, said, man, you got to really watch out for restarts here. Why? Why is it so intense and different at Phoenix?
It's still short track racing, and those guys are really they're intense. There's a lot on the line, and that's kind of like an old school restart. Those guys used to drive off in there and beat and bang pretty harsh. The last few years have been relatively calm, but that's kind of like the old school restarts. They just get in there and slide till she sticks and go for it.
So we have 4 drivers going to Homestead. We have 4 different spotters, 4 completely different teams. 2 drivers, 2 teams have previous championships, 2 don't. But you were in the unique situation as our next guest, Jason Hedlesky, with having an opportunity in the past to race for a championship. Looking back on your experience alone, I know we had an issue on pit road as a Team Penske member. Will you do anything different preparing for this championship that you did the first time?
Over this past year, I've prepared a little bit different, just watching more races, just staying in tune with what's happened the last time we were there. So I'm not going to change anything that I've been doing this year. Make sure all your radios are good, make sure you have enough batteries and cords and just all that good stuff. But that's normal. Every race is important. Mm-hmm. Every race is an opportunity to get to this point. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. You
don't want to do anything at the last race that you haven't done to get you to this point. Then your driver's going, wait, who is this guy talking to me now?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that you can overdo it pretty easy. So you just need to do your thing.
One of the instances we saw with 2 laps to go on the restart was Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Matt Kenseth getting together, taking Matt Kenseth out. As a fellow spotter, we work alongside of Chris Osborne. Do you feel that pain yourself, and do you or explain yourself how you feel the emotions towards when something like that happens?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you how important every position is, and the whole spotting thing. There's a lot of the race where you're just paid attention to what's going on around, but man, whenever it's crunch time, it's an intense situation, and you just have to really be on top of it. And whenever guys are trying extra hard, sometimes things don't go right. So it's just one of those things. You just have to stay on it.
I'm sure you guys saw the tweet that he sent out, that Crazy sent out late yesterday, basically diving on the grenade and taking all the blame for himself. And then Dale Jr. tweets back and says, no, it's always more than one thing going on. But, man, you just feel for the guy after all he went through with the wreck earlier this year and then fighting to get back and then coming down to that, and then the guy dives on his sword at the end. He's a stand-up guy for that.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes everybody. It takes good pit stops. It takes preparation at the shop. It takes execution at the track. So it's hard to put any kind of blame on just one thing. You know, you learn from everybody will learn from that situation, and unfortunately it was under an intense circumstance. So you just learn what happened there. You learn what happened from the pit road deal with the 48. You learn just anything. On the restarts, it could be a guy in 10th that did something, and he's like, man, we need to pay attention to that
in
next
case
time.
He does it again, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just every race, everywhere, it seems like you learn something new.
When we go to Homestead now with this new chase format, it seems like the past several years, in order to win the championship, you had to win the race. Is that your mentality, or will you be trying to race the other guys all the time?
Well, I mean, we go to every race trying to win,
Yep.
so I think that you just go for it and do your thing, and that's kind of what happened at Phoenix. We're in a position where we were points counting a little bit, and you need to know your situation. You have to be aware of what's going on. So if 5th is good to where you need to be, then you need to run 5th. But if you can get to 3rd, you better get to 3rd. Or if you can win, you better take a chance to win.
I wanted to ask you something you touched on briefly there a minute ago. Joey and I were talking about it a moment ago. We heard Jimmy Johnson mention it earlier. Earl Barban mentioned it. Were you surprised about the accelerating to pass the pace car thing on pit road?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it because our angle is a little weird at Phoenix. We're all
you're
the
way down in turn one.
So
yeah,
I didn't see it happening because at the point that you say pit road's open, I always confirm that the light's green, see our car, we're coming to pit road, then I pick up the point of where we're 10 away. So I never saw the acceleration and passing, so because I'm focused on trying to do our pit road routine, let the guys know we're on pit road, 10 away, things like that.
If Joey were leading the race and he came to pit road, do you think he would have passed the pace car?
I hope not.
But do you think the procedure simply, it's been going on?
I agree with what Jimmy said. I mean, it's nothing different than it's happened for years. So I was really surprised at the call.
Yeah.
Better now that it happens than in Homestead.
Yeah, and that might be kind of why it did happen, to prevent it happening.
To give everybody fair warning. By the way, I want to let fans know that your driver, Joey Logano, is going to be on NASCAR Live there. If you're watching live on Monday on Facebook or YouTube or at MRN.com, you can call in this afternoon at 2:30 Eastern to chat with Joey Logano. The number is 704-262-7227. 704-262-7227. Joey Logano is going to be the guest on NASCAR Live. We're recording the interview this afternoon because he's going to be a little busy, as you might expect.
You know, just to make you feel really special, we've been doing this show for 4 years. This is our first Blue and Onion on
See
studio.
there?
I'll tell you
so
what.
we got that specifically for you.
And we spent extra time on our hair, too.
Absolutely.
Can you tell?
Yeah,
we had company coming.
It's working.
It's pretty good, right? I got to get me a piece of that right there, right?
That's what I'm going to have for dinner tonight.
That's pretty good. Yeah, and it's free, right? How can you beat free stuff?
Man, 2016, you got 3 wins. You have to be excited to go into Homestead. Appreciate you coming in, spending a little bit of time. I know we got back in late last night.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm glad to be here. It's really neat to be.
And before we let you go, make sure you tell your dad hi for us.
I will, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, guys, we've got a lot more to come here on MRN Motorsports Monday. We still have on the program Jason Hedlesky, the spotter for Carl Edwards, and Tony Hirschman, the spotter for Kyle Busch. It's Spotter-Palooza Day on Motorsports Monday.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Are you ready? To help children forget about their serious medical conditions so they can just be a kid. Then support Victory Junction, which is the dream of late race driver Adam Petty, who wanted to build a camp where children concentrate on fun and laughter, not illness or disability. At Victory Junction, kids enjoy ziplining, horseback riding, swimming, fishing, all in a medically safe environment, all at no cost to the camper. What do you say, Richard Petty?
Let's do this.
Learn more at victoryjunction.org.
This isn't just a race. This is the championship at Homestead-Miami Speedway. There are no shortcuts, no excuses, no participation trophies. The only thing racing faster than the championship for is your pulse. Because when it comes to the championship, nothing else matters. It's time! The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship Ford EcoBoost 400. November 20th. Call 866-409-RACE or visit HomesteadMiamiSpeedway.com.
In order to maximize a vehicle's performance and efficiency, the proper adjustments need to be made based on the road ahead. That's true for both race car drivers on the track and for truck drivers hauling freight on the highway. But if your truck's equipped with the Detroit DT12 automated manual transmission with intelligent powertrain management, adjustments are made automatically based on GPS terrain mapping, maximizing performance and efficiency. Don't just want better business solutions, demand them. Learn more at demanddetroit.com.
I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with the infamous Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
I don't even know where to start, but I feel horrible for the 20 car, obviously. That was not what I wanted to see transpire there. I didn't see the 88 get a great launch on the restart. I got a little bit better one than he did, and I got to his inside. I was there, and he came down and hit me, and obviously it took out the 20. So, man, that's just a shame to see the 20 going on to win, have a late caution like that, and just everything get thrown out the window for those guys. But as far as our race goes, we ran like crap, and we salvaged a decent finish and somehow got in. So that's all we can do. We can fight to the end and get everything that we can out of these things, out of these races, and that's what we did with our M&M's car today. And we'll go on to Homestead, I guess, and see if we can't defend.
There you go, Kyle Busch, your defending Sprint Cup Series champ, just getting in. A late scrum. We talked a little bit about it earlier. He makes contact with the 88. The 88 wobbles up into the 20, who was trying to cut down and get the advantage on the inside. Just a crazy situation at the end. And for all those people who are going, where's all the drama? You saw it yesterday, right?
With 2 to go, before the last caution comes out, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Joey Logano are going to Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
No doubts. The 95 car blows a tire, causes an overtime rule finish. For the 3rd time this year, the 95 has done a caution with less than 2 laps to go.
Mr. Overtime.
So now we have a restart, which is no big deal. Still, Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, probably your clear favorites for getting in. Matt Kenseth has to get a restart. He has to win to bump his way in.
Because it's so close otherwise, he needs that extra.
The only way that Kyle gets to go to Homestead is for Alex Bowman to jump out of line and get in the back of the 20 because Kyle got in the back of the 88.
Yeah, because I don't think he was going to stuff it in there, but he gets a little shove, and he's kind of wobbling into the turn a little bit.
Right. But without that incident happening, Matt goes to Homestead and races for a championship.
Yeah, and Kyle admitted it freely.
Exactly.
He said, yeah, the 20 should have been in.
2 laps later, the 18 is going down to the championship for the hunt, and those 4 drivers.
To defend his title for sure. And his spotter, Tony Hirschman, joins us on the guest line now. Tony, what a wild finish. Have you caught a deep breath yet after all that?
Yeah, I was on the red-eye flight home last night, so I had some time to think about it, sit down, watch some football, and watch the highlights, and think about how it all shook out, and it definitely was it was exciting for sure for all of us. You know, at some point we were in, at some point we were out, and it kind of went the same way for for Joey, for Matt, for Denny. So it was fans got their money's worth yesterday for sure.
Tony, uncharacteristically for Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole. Now, obviously, 19 car, he was already in Homestead, so we don't expect a lot. But the other 3 drivers didn't perform at the level. What problems did you guys experience all afternoon?
I really didn't talk to Lambert or Crazy on what their struggles were. I know with the 18, we were actually a little bit off on Friday first practice, and we were actually really far off in qualifying trim. So we qualified 19th, which was one of our worst efforts of the year, but we did a lot of work on the car, and it got better. I thought we were, really competitive, and I know Kyle was happy with it after race practices on Saturday. And in the race, just just struggled a little bit in traffic, especially. Starting 19th, we worked our way up a little bit, and then we got caught that first caution when they were doing the green flag pit cycles, and we were pit and just left the pit box, and I guess those guys got together getting on the pit lane, so we ended up getting trapped the lap down, had to do a wave around, so we were back in traffic again, so had to redo the process all over again. But we were just tight in traffic, especially 3 and 4. Just couldn't roll the center like some of those other guys. Jimmy, he got around us early and he was really fast, so he left us. So it was trying to get some track position back, and the guys were making really, really big swings at it, trying to get the car better in traffic. And you look back on the day, and as off as we were, I talked to Kyle a little bit afterwards, and he said the same thing. For as off as we were, and to end up finishing second was pretty darn impressive. Just showed, he bared down and really got up on the wheels like he always does on restarts, and got us some 2 or 3 spots at a clip sometimes when he needed to. And so the guys making big swings at the car. It got better. More maneuverable where we could work some guys, and that clean air once we got up in the top 5, that definitely helped out too. So, it was a long day, a struggle, but in the end we accomplished. Of course, we'd have liked to win the race, but we accomplished what the main goal was to get us in. And unfortunately, the way the race played out at the end, we were hoping one of our other teammates would get in as well, but the racing guys just didn't have it for them.
Yeah, and they don't come with asterisks. You get to go defend that championship in Homestead next weekend. But we've asked all the other spotters that we've had on. We've had the championship 4 spotters. We've still got Jason Hedlesky yet to come. But wanted to ask you about the accelerating past the pace car call that came up a couple of times yesterday getting onto pit road. Were you surprised to see that? So far, everybody has said, yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, I definitely was surprised. It just kind of, I know they talk about that in the drivers' meeting, and it's something that it's been done before, and guys have been doing it. It's kind of like when I forget what race it was earlier in the year when Truex ended up passing Harvick, getting on the pit lane when they all come single file, and Martin, before they added the timing lines, peeled off to get to his stall and throttled up and passed the 4. It's something that's been done for years and years and years that I can remember, people trying to play the timing line games, and for whatever reason they just that night they called Martin on it, and it ended up hurting him and maybe costing him a race. So it's stuff that they talk about in the drivers meeting. So it is a rule. It just all comes down to when if they decide on the officiating it, if they're going to call it or not. So like I said, they called I believe they called Martin on it yesterday, did the exact same thing, when he was trapped the lap down, he peeled off the pit and passed the pace car. So I think once they called it on him, they had the box was open, so then they had to call it on Jimmy as well, just to be consistent. So it was definitely a surprise, and when I told Kyle on the radio about it, he made a reference to the Xfinity race when we were leading, and it's definitely, if they're going to call it every time, it's just something that whoever's the leader, it's something that they have to be cognizant of, and just be careful that they don't do that. I know it kind of puts you at a disadvantage, if you got to keep the pace car speed, and it just allows all the other guys behind you to bunch up as they're peeling off, and they can throttle up to get to your back bumper. So it does put the leader at a little bit of a disadvantage when you have some lap car buffers and stuff. But the rules are the rules, and you just play by them and try not to get busted.
As one of the 4 spotters going to Homestead, you've had the opportunity to race for a championship. Last year, you're the most frequent or the most recent championship-winning team. Looking forward to Homestead, will you do anything different referencing 2015, or you try to do exactly the same thing?
No, we try to do it exactly the same thing like we did last year. I think last year we had a great car in the race, and I think that goes back to our practice plan and on where we ran on the track and what we worked on to try to all the practices or daytime practices. So and the race starts in the day but ends at night. So it's just I think we had an awesome game plan last year. Kyle did a great job in practice giving feedback, and the guys did a great job on tuning the car up, not only to get it good for the start of the race, but nighttime came, and we got better as the race went on. But you know, me as a spotter, I won't do anything different. You know, you just kind of go do what's got you there, and you know, I'm really excited about it. It's just growing up in the sport with my dad with the modified stuff. There, you work so hard all year long to put yourself in a position for a championship. You know, race wins are awesome. It's fun. It's something that you can enjoy for, you know, for a couple days before you move on to the next race. But the championships, that's something that you can enjoy for the whole off season, and you can really, you know, stick your chest out that you've accomplished something. And you know, last year we were lucky enough to do it with Kyle, and also I spotted with Eric Jones on the truck side. So we got you know, 2 championships last year, which was really a special year. So I'm just super excited to go back and, you know, have a chance with Kyle again. And you know, it was really heartbroken in the truck race I spot for William Byron there, and I was really heartbroken the way that played out. I was hoping to have a shot to win the championship with him, but still in the running for the Owners' Championship on the truck side with the 9 and the Xfinity side with the 18, and then and with Kyle. So we got a chance to run for 3 championships this weekend, and like I said, it's, you know, it'd really be something special to win one. But you know, after last year, you kind of get a little bit greedy. If you're in, if it's so hard to be in position at Homestead to win a championship, so it's cool to be able to have a chance to win all 3, and you know, hopefully the racing gods are with us, and you know, we do our job and we'll be able to pull them off.
You know, looking back, everybody compares Texas as a similar track. We just raced last week behind Phoenix. That's very similar to Homestead. Looking at the stats, you have not finished out of the top 5 at Texas in the last 5 races. Of course, he missed 1 race in 2015 last year with his injury. Do you look at other teams as being a competitor, or are you just going to show up and race your own deal and pay attention to nobody else?
Well, ideally, you just kind of show up. You know, really in practice, you show up and you just work on your own stuff. You know, if somebody's blazing fast, it does catch your attention, but you can't fall in love with the you know, the speed chart and where everybody else is running, because you know, if you feel like you have a good car and you know, and it's going to drive good and race good at night, and somebody's a little bit faster than you, you can't fall in love with the speed chart and then go work on your stuff and get yourself tuned out, just trying to make up a little bit of time. So you just go there and go about your business and do what you normally do on a normal race weekend. You know, at Texas, we've been good. You know, I don't know, that's to get to where we are, to be able to go to Homestead. You know, Texas, the last race there, we didn't even make 1 lap in practice, and we got the wall and had to go to a backup car. So I don't know, we still ended up finishing 5th, which was an accomplishment for being behind the 8 ball all weekend long. But you know, we've been good at Texas, and to run that good, I really feel like we go there and tune on our car right from the get-go, and I think we have as good a chance as anybody. You know, Kyle, there's nobody better out there behind the wheel, and I know the guys will bring a good piece, and you know, between us and all of our teammates working together to get our stuff as good as possible, I'm really confident in our chances this weekend, and looking forward to it. And it's going to be you know, it'll be exciting again for the fans, but you know, we'll try to go out and do our job and mind our P's and Q's, and let the cars fall where they may.
That's all you can do. Tony, man, we really appreciate your time. Congratulations on making it back to the Championship 4 and getting a chance to defend that title, and I look forward to catching up with you at Homestead.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Good job, Tony. Congratulations, man.
How about that? That's really cool. It to me, it's you always want to see the guy who's the previous one go back and be able to get a chance to defend it. Win or lose, you want to see him be able to fight for it.
Brad has always said once you get one, he thinks the most important one is that second one, which justifies the first one, and it wasn't a fluke. A lot of guys so far. We've seen Rusty Wallace in the Hall of Fame, 1 championship. You know, the Matt Kenseth, the Kurt Busches, Brad Keselowski's. We see 1 championship of those guys. The second one, it seems like it's a little more difficult because the first one's really difficult.
Yeah.
But that second one just justifies that first one, and that's what the opportunity that Kyle Busch has. Now with Jimmy, he's going to go for 7, so that's pretty darn cool as well.
Pretty large.
You know, we have Carl Edwards and Joey Logano going for their first. The interesting aspect of this now is we have all these teammates running around with each other. Well, Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch are the only ones operating for the same team. So it'll be interesting to see how they share information throughout the weekend versus I'm beating you or you're beating me, and we're going to go on it on our own. So it'll be interesting to see.
The game behind the game for sure. All right, we've had 3 of the Championship 4 spotters so far. The final one joins us next. Jason Hedlesky, the spotter for Carl Edwards, on the other side of the break.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable no matter where you are.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans are designed to keep up with you no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you, so you can go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable all day long.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort Jeans, the most comfortable jeans you will ever wear. Try on a pair today.
Wrangler, be comfortable.
I'm Rico Abreu, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
It started a little bit slow, and we got some track position middle of the race and then towards the end, and then we stayed out on tires, and it didn't work. I think the car had a lot more speed than 19th in it. I just thought we had a right rear tire going down. I got loose into 3. I don't know if somebody bumped me or what, but I was pretty sure I had a flat tire, so I drove down to the next corner easy, and that just everybody motored by me. So we're going to put this one behind us, go to Homestead, race for a championship.
That's Carl Edwards after the Can-Am 500 at Phoenix yesterday, talking to our Steve Post at MRN Radio. And joining us now, his spotter, Jason Hedlesky, on the guest line. Jason, congratulations. You guys get to go race for a championship at Homestead.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's looking very forward to it. I can't wait to get down there. And obviously we all love Homestead for a lot of different reasons. Florida, the beautiful weather, last race of the year. But the opportunity to go down there and compete for the championship is always the number one reason we all want to be there, and it's what we work so hard for. So I'm excited about it.
You know, several years ago, you had the opportunity to battle to one of the most epic championship battles we've seen with you and Tony Stewart. You have to be excited going back again with that experience as a whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that when people ask me personally, like, what is probably the moment that stands out, you know, we all get these questions. What's the moment that stands out in your career as a spotter? Or that race, that particular race between Tony and between Carl. You know, obviously we were at Roush Fenway at the time. Carl was driving the 99 car, but what I was able to be a part of was the most awesome experience that I have ever been a part of in racing. And just watching 2 drivers, 2 elite athletes, just they had it all on the line. Carl and Tony were you know, they're running, you know how everybody races down there. They're a half inch from the wall. Tony was leading, unfortunately, in our case, but Carl was trying to run them down, and it was just an awesome race, awesome experience. It didn't turn out exactly how we would have wanted it, but to be a part of that and the opportunity to go down there and maybe get a chance to do that again, I thought that was one of the most phenomenal, great races. One of the best, yeah.
You've been hanging around Joey too much.
Sorry, yeah, thanks, Joey. One of the best races I've ever seen in NASCAR history, and I've been, you know, I've been able to watch several throughout my whole life as a fan and as a competitor. But that race down there was unreal, and to be a part of it was really special.
Speaking of that, we got a Twitter question from a fan who wants to know, when spotters go back and re-look at races afterwards, do you listen to yourself? Do you talk to other people? What do you do to try and improve? Because that's what we're all trying to do no matter what business we're in. What do you guys do to try and get better as you go back and review races?
Well, that's an interesting question, and there's a lot of times that you know, the races run, you felt you've given, myself personally, I've given 100%. But you know, there's always a situation where, man, I could have done this or I could have done that better. So one of the first things I do, I race to the airplane. I get on the airplane, and if there's been a certain situation that the 19 team has been in, I'll typically go to NASCAR.com, and there's always highlights, right? Right immediately following the race. And, they always play the audio. So I'll look at that. I'll look at the video. Yes, I'll listen to the audio. And Joey can attest to this. 9 times out of 10, you remember what you said before you even go back and listen or watch. So I like to see the replays of certain situations to say, man, I could have maybe given Carl a little bit more of a heads up here or maybe done that. But, yeah, absolutely. I think it's just like any other sport, any other business. The more you can review what was done, what was said, how you did it, the better you'll be going forward next week.
Well, with your epic battle with Tony Stewart, I know it was another race team, another different manufacturer, but you still had the participation. And we've asked every spotter this question so far. Do you prepare exactly the same way you did in the past, or have you looked back and said, I'm going to do something a little different?
No, it's funny you asked that, Joey, because I talked to Carl earlier this morning on the phone. We kind of recapped yesterday and looked ahead. And I think, and this is just me, now the other spotters might and the other teams might be different, but I think if you change what you've been doing or what you've done your entire career, obviously we've all learned, we've all gotten better, we've all gained experience, but I think this is just another race, and I think you need to treat it that way. Our team, our 19 team, Dave Rogers, Carl Edwards, all the engineers, the pit crew, we have a phenomenal pit crew. Hey, I was able to say it that time. The pit crew is just unbelievable. I think that we're in this position for a reason, and we're in this position because the team has had a great year and done a great job. So I think for us to change anything now would be foolish. So in my past experience, and it wasn't just so luckily for me, I've been a part of some of these championship battles, as you have, Joey, throughout my career. Not only the battle with Tony in 11, I believe it was, but we finished second to Jimmy, maybe 08 or 09. The years all run together to me now, but we were able to finish second. And throughout the last 10 races of that season, they swapped the lead back and forth. I've been fortunate enough to win or be a part of 2 championships with Matt Crafton in the Truck Series. Carl won the last Busch Series championship in 08, I believe it was. So. And I think you just have to go race. You just do the things that you've always done that got you here, and I think that's what the team needs to do. And I say that in any sport. I mean, you're here for a reason, so why change now?
Absolutely. Chatting with Jason Hedlesky, the spotter for Carl Edwards. They'll be one of the Championship 4 at Homestead-Miami this coming weekend. Jason, wanted to ask you as well. We've asked all the other spotters. We heard from Jimmy Johnson. Were you surprised at the pit road call where a couple of guys got popped for accelerating past the pace car getting on pit road?
At first I was, but I didn't really see it. Sorry, my 5-month-old is. We're at preschool in the parking lot. Decided to pick up our.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Jason, Johnny Sauter called us from the principal's office one day, so that's okay.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully I don't have to do that ever, but I'm sure with 3 boys I'll definitely have to do that. To go back to your question, I was surprised, but to be honest, I didn't really see it. So it's hard to be surprised. I don't know really what happened. I heard that the penalty called on the NASCAR radio. People had mentioned what he did by pulling up, and they do say it in the drivers' meeting. You cannot pull up to beat the pace car. Pull up the pit, so to speak. So I know at Phoenix, it's kind of been a common theme through all the years of racing. When the guys get down there, they kind of hustle up to get to the line. Now, I can't really speak of Jimmy's situation, or I guess Martin got it as well, the 78, but I can't really speak of it because I didn't see it, and I never saw a replay. So, honestly, my opinion wouldn't matter in this case. When they said it, the surprise I had was I haven't heard that penalty call. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But that doesn't matter. If you made a mistake and the penalty is called, there's a first time for everything. So.
Yeah. Absolutely, there is. Well, Jason, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on a fine season and making it to be one of the Championship 4 this coming Sunday at Homestead-Miami, and look forward to catching up with you guys down there.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me on, and what a great show you guys have. And yeah, I can't wait. Homestead, like I said, I love going down there. I love South Florida. I love the racetrack, and Carl does a real good job down there, and I think we're ready. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait.
I do too. I think it's going to be fun for sure. Absolutely.
Good luck, man. Congratulations on getting there.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you both down there.
Yep. Thanks for the time. There you go. The Championship 4. We've heard from all 4 spotters along the day. Oh, by the way, we had another Twitter question. Zach Copeland wants to know who of all the spotters we've had on today has been spotting the longest in NASCAR. You need to eat first. You're making a mess all over the set.
Just like the commercial.
Uh-huh.
It's the noise.
Yeah, Kevin Havoc.
I'm going to say Earl Barban's been in the industry the longest. He started spotting back in the early 90s for Rusty Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good. I really,
it is
outstanding,
and it's free. It's Bloomin' Monday.
That's what makes it even better. It's free.
Who doesn't like free stuff?
It's free stuff,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So Earl's been doing it the longest. Has he been
90s.
spotting the longest, or just in the industry the longest?
Well, yes, both.
Both. Okay.
He's been spotting much longer than I know Tab. Because Tab actually used to work on the car kind of like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Tab and I flew together. I was a pilot back when he worked at Aiken Sutton and changed tires. Tab went over the wall, so I know he's not. Jason actually used to manage Junie Donlevy's team, and before that he actually had a driving career in the ARCA series.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Hirschman, I actually got Tony not into spotting, but was one of the first replacement spotters on the non-companion races for Martin Truex when we were over at DEI. So I know he was starting around that time.
Yeah.
Spotted for his brother in the modified series for a number of years. So Earl has actually been a Sprint Cup, Winston Cup, Nextel Cup, whatever cup you wanted to run.
You name the
He's been
cup.
over in that garage
Yeah.
doing that for a very long time.
Want to correct something we mentioned earlier, that phone number, Joey Logano on NASCAR Live. We're recording that interview this afternoon. If you're watching live on a Monday on Facebook or YouTube, the number is 800-262-7227. 7227.
Well, you really messed
he
that up.
He didn't put the whole number in. See,
You really messed that up.
He's on NASCAR Live here. They're recording it this afternoon at 2:30. Joey Logano, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. And don't forget, visit Homestead-Miami-Speedway.com to check out their ticket packages that they've got. Championship weekend. We haven't touched much on the trucks or the Xfinity side. Championship 4 on the Xfinity side. Elliott Sadler, Daniel Suarez, Justin Allgaier, and Eric Jones.
2 teams, Joe Gibbs Racing against Junior Motorsports. Go battle to battle. We got 2 drivers in each one. A fantastic effort. Elliott Sadler, who's a seasoned veteran, been looking for his first championship in the Xfinity Series, has been kind of revitalized over at Junior Motorsports. A absolutely heartbreaking story with William Byron.
God, he had him, didn't he?
Who, as a rookie, had the most wins, which you've seen now in a couple
6.
different series. The guys with the most wins didn't get into the Homestead Championship season. That continues with William Byron. Had the field covered, clearly 5 seconds ahead of second, blows a motor. Daniel Suarez ends up winning that race. So, again, epic battles going on in all 3 of the series.
I was really lucky this year. I got to do
You work
Daniel
with me.
Suarez. Well, beyond that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I got to do Daniel Suarez's first victory lane for his first Xfinity win and for trucks in the same season. So I was pretty lucky.
I wonder if he feels the same way.
Probably not, but that's okay. I do. You finished your artwork. Look at that. This is what he's been doing over the whole show. He's not been paying attention to the guests or the callers, but Bloomin' Onion and coloring. That's what you've been doing. And the Joey menu. Read what it says. Read what it says on the Joey menu.
I'm reading it. It says Joey menu. Look,
No.
Joey
read
menu.
below that. Pick it up.
It says
read
Outback.
No, pick it up.
Outback,
read that.
Joey
Read that.
menu.
What does it say beyond that? I mean, you're going to make me do it, aren't you? You're going to make me read it. It says, I keep telling you, it's not named for you.
It doesn't say that. See, it doesn't say it wasn't named for me. You couldn't see it. It doesn't say it wasn't named for me. It just says kids can order off this menu. That's what it says.
It's made for kids 10 and under.
This is really good.
Yeah, have another Bloomin'
We're
Onion.
gonna
By
do
the way,
this
this just in, we do have the correct number now. If you're watching live on a Monday, NASCAR Live, Joey Logano's the guest, 800-262-7227. The number if you'd like to call and chat with him. He'll be on this afternoon, Monday, 2:30 to 2:45, the interview time. If you'd like to have a question asked or answered for him, do that then.
So we apologize to Sue McNamara in Brooklyn, New York. We actually gave out your phone number, and they're going to make all the calls to you looking for Joey Logano. We apologize.
She's going to be going, what?
Yeah. The 8675309 number is not the correct number to call.
Another late trivia question. What spotter has been with their current driver the longest?
Oh, that's going to probably
the one we had today.
It's probably going to be Jason Hedlesky because, and I would have said normally Earl Barban, but he took a break with Jimmy Johnson, who actually went over to Robert Yates Racing, spotter for Jale Jarrett for a number of years. But Jason Hedlesky has been with Carl Edwards in the sport since Carl got in the sport. Back
Wow.
to trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup side.
That's some strong consistency as well. We'll have it all for you this weekend, folks. Ford Championship Weekend on the Motor Racing Network. Check out the app, the free app at the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. All the stuff we're going to be doing, practice sessions, qualifying, all that is on the app. Check out MRN.com all through the week, and we will join you for the season finale of Motorsports Monday right back here next week. He's Joey. I'm Woody. It's Spotterpalooza edition of Motorsports Monday. We'll see you right back here next Monday.
You've been listening to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in again next Monday at noon Eastern for all the latest news, results, and interviews from NASCAR on MotorRacingNetwork.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand at the MotorRacingNetwork.com Media Center. Or you can download it from iTunes or Stitcher. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.